Chaos Emeralds, Mistborn heroes, and a life very aquatic. Hello, I'm Matthew, here on Watch It Played, and this is your board game news. Sonic Roll does sound somewhat like a seasonal burger promotion, but it is in fact a brand new Sonic the Hedgehog board game playing 1 to 4 players from Kesco. And Sonic Roll is a semi-cooperative push-your-luck dice campaign game where you play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles or Amy, who must traverse signature 16-bit zones from classic Sonic games and save woodland creatures that the evil Dr. Eggman has captured. There are character-unique abilities to roll dice in order to take out obstacles in these heroes' paths, and by placing dice in just the right combinations, you're able to run through zones, collect rings, and defeat the badniks that stand in your way before inevitably facing off against Eggman himself. It looks like you can play this as a one-off game, or you can play through a campaign mode, collecting 7 Chaos Emeralds as you go, and we are being told to expect this in shops in the first quarter of 2024, which still sounds like a long way away, but it is actually December. Dear Lord. But it's also time where I can introduce the first sponsor who in part helped make this episode possible. Priorities from Clarendon Games. How well do you really know your friends? And yourself. Priorities is a party game of finding the truth among bizarre choices. Simply ask yourself how you would rank 5 random items from best to worst, from love to loathe, such as sunsets, cheese, camping, aquariums, and dog breath. Lock in your answers, because then the other players must work together to try to predict the order that you've ranked the items. It's everyone, both families and adults, versus the game as they try to determine your priorities. Pick it up and make playing Priorities a priority at your next group gaming get-together. Follow the link in this video's description to find Priorities, which is available now at Target stores near you. The 1 to 5 player Metro Runner was announced by Thunderworks Games. Being a runner in Mirror City's underworld ain't easy, but you're determined to make a name for yourself amidst all the opportunities a dystopian future has to offer. After all, you're the sharpest hacker in the district. Right? I've always considered Keep a wary bio-enhanced eye out over your shoulder as you ride to the metro, because other runners are determined to cut in on your action. Dun dun dun. So Metro Runner is a competitive worker, movement and resource collection game for 1 to 5 players, set in a high-tech neon future where you'll compete for resources as you race to fulfill contracts for the ruthless and greedy mega corporations in order to grow your influence and gain reputation, all while of course you secretly steal their data for your home district. How this is all actually achieved in-game is still pretty elusive at the moment. We are told that we need to plan our path around the city, attempting to cut off other players by manipulating the circuitry of the central tile grid, altering the pathways of an ever-changing puzzle to breach the firewalls, which admittedly does sound cool. And Metro Runner will be going to crowdfunding sometime next year. Catch-up games are bringing us the 2 to 5 player card game Courtesans, where tonight the Queen holds a banquet, where backstabbing is fair game and no trick is too dirty if it allows you to place your favourite families in the spotlight. In the game Courtesans, you receive and play 3 cards on each of your turns. One is played at the Queen's table to sway a family's influence in a positive or a negative manner, and the 2 other cards are played in your domain and in an opponent's domain, and can be worth positive or negative points depending on their family status at the end of the game. This one caught my eye, which I'm realising is a pun that does work better written down, but I'm always on the lookout for interesting backstabbing card games, and I'm really hopeful about this one, which is out next year. On that note, we have a very quick story about a new small box Amigo card game, which is one of the most exciting sentences you can say to me. I'm not going to pretend I know how to pronounce Things Hun, but it's a card game full of chickens that do no karate. Look at the box. That chicken has a black belt, which means she either earned the black belt herself or took it from another chicken. Really, Amigo card games always get my attention. I believe this is a push your luck shedding game where you also get to shout "cowardly chicken" at people. And the designers of this one also worked on Cahoots, Happy Salmon, Mantis and a lot of other solid little games, so I want to play this when I can. There are more birds in the next game, Nestlings, coming from Lucky Duck. which is also a bird. In Nestlings, 1 to 4 players assume the roles of various fowl, competing to gain priority across 4 different biomes: savanna, alpine, freshwater, and desert. Bagsy alpine. Over 4 rounds, players use their biome dice, which they use to place in the biomes, attempting to get majority to earn the resources you need to score points based on how many nestlings you're able to feed and how many segments are in their resource ring, which looks like it's a mechanism that will earn you bonuses and trigger a chain reactions. I love dice placement and set collection, so this one will have my attention because after a successful Kickstarter by Tangerine Games, Lucky Duck will be making it available at retail in April. I've played through the entirety of the Crew Quest for Planet 9 and the Crew Mission Deep Sea, and while this is a new show, I do sometimes throw my journalistic integrity to the wind and give my opinion, saying such things as the Crew Mission Deep Sea is one of the greatest games of all time. I won't be getting a Pulitzer Prize, but I do stand by what I say. So I was really excited to see a new game in the Crew series. This one is called The Crew Family. It's a game from Cosmos Games. It plays 3 to 5 players, and in this one, players find themselves stranded on a deserted island, Swiss Family Robinson style, and have to find their way to survive together. And of course, this one is aimed to be played as a family, so it's more accessible to younger players and will be out next year. 3 different aquatic games were announced, starting with Algae Inc. And look, I'm a simple gamer. What made me look at this one was the words tile placement and tech tree. This one is a 2 to 4 player game coming from Game Brewer, and in the game, Algae Inc. is a company that produces and processes different kinds of algae into cosmetics, bioplastics, and biodiesel. And of course, you will be managing one of the sectors of the company, trying to create an efficient assembly line, manage your team of operators and engineers and scientists, and help expand the company to several locations over Europe, hopefully before the other players are able to do so. Algae Inc. is being described as a medium-heavy Euro that combines resource management, tableau building, and multi-processing, where each player has a unique player board and must adapt their strategy to the department they've chosen to manage, hiring staff, optimizing your process line, and of course, making difficult decisions as to how to upgrade your system. And this one will launch on GameFound early next year. Aqua is a 1 to 4 player game from Sidekick Games, which has you start at a hot spot in the ocean that gradually becomes surrounded by expanding coral formations. Coral that serve as habitats for small marine animals, and of course, fostering biodiverse habitats, you can create the ideal conditions for attracting larger and larger marine life. Over 17 rounds, nice unique number, you'll be taking a new coral tile from the market and adding it to your reef, attempting to attract animals to your ecosystem. If you can create the correct patterns of coral, and pattern building tile placement is something I love, and this one does it all with artwork by Vincent Dutrait, so I'm really interested in trying Aqua in February when it's released. And the final aquatic game is one I've already played, and this is the 1 to 5 player Seaside by Randolph Games. The sun is shining as light, salty winds send cotony clouds across the sky. Sandpipers filling their bellies with strange insects, crabs hiding under piles of rocks, seashells washed up on the beach, curling waves that break along the beach. Nature at its simplest beauty. That's the description on Board Game Geek, but in this push your luck set collection game, you'll be drawing tokens out of a bag and applying their effects as you try to get the most points. You will have the opportunity to take extra turns, but doing so increases the tokens available for other players, so you need to be careful. I really enjoy the prototype version of this I played with a small, nice, thick tile so you can play it on a beach or at a pub. I think that's really what they're going for. I'm really looking forward to playing this again when it's out next year. And Brotherwise Games have announced the Mistborn deck building game, set on the planet of Scandriel. In this one, you'll be controlling iconic Mistborn characters in allomantic battles by burning metals to unlock different powers in a deck building game designed by John D. Clare, who designed Empire's End and Ready Set Bet. And something I very much like is that it's heading straight to retail next year. Details on this one are sparse, as sparse perhaps as my knowledge is what even a Mistborn is. But what I do know is that Brandon Sanderson's first trilogy of Mistborn books, where this game is set, was, to put it mildly, rather popular. This is being described by Brotherwise, and quoting from the official announcement which came via Dicebreaker, as a Dominion-style deck builder where players purchase cards to add to their deck with the aim of customizing and improving in order to defeat their opponents. Brotherwise' partnership with Sanderson was already cemented with Court Adventure, the Stormlight Archive, based on a different highly popular series of books by Sanderson, as well as Stormlight Archive role-playing game, which is coming next year. So I'm excited to play Mistborn, the deck building game, even though I know nothing about the IP. So if you're a fan of the books as well, I'm guessing this is even more exciting. And that's the news. But if you want to continue your watch it play journey, if you dare, you can click the link to find our board game buyer's guide. Have you already clicked away, making what I'm saying now pointless? Let me know in the comments about that. I'll see you over there, and of course, in the next news. Bye.